Hello, hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome as you start coming on in. I'm still getting my stuff all ready and links and everything out. So bear with us as we start our morning. Hey, y'all, it's Nick Parrow, not your dad, joined by Walter Rhine, protector of Labradors, today for our notes of the week, as we're going to be joined here in a little while with letters from a feminist. She'll be with us roughly halfway through the show. We may have a shorter show today, just so you all know, because we've got other things we're both doing in the afternoon after. We are busy people. We do a lot these days. Walter, how are you, man?
Yeah.
You look busy. And I
Yeah.
know how busy you are. How are you today, brother?
Doing pretty good. I'm tired. Things are okay. I mean, it's inspiring. There's so much going on. There's so much, there's a lot of work to be done. And the good thing is we know what work we have to do. And people are, we're talking to people. We're getting the word out there. We're changing hearts. It takes a long time, though. And I think this is one of the things I like to emphasize. People are too quick, especially writers. They think they write something, it doesn't do as they hoped, and they think they're a failure. They instantly default to that. I'm 51, I've been doing this my whole years and years and years. It takes friends, and we are making progress. We're making it like erosion. We're making it like growth. It's like you work and you work and you work, and then one day you wake up and it's like, oh my goodness, it just seems to happen. So keep at it, everybody. Get your rest when you can. I did a live this morning, and then I went out and walked the dog because that's what Evie told me to do, and a couple others. I think that was a smart choice. So I got my son already this morning, and I'm ready to keep going.
Awesome. I'm glad. Today's the first day I've had without the kids in 3-ish days now. We had, I think it was, no, 4 days, because my kids did not go to school on Friday this past week. And they didn't have school on Monday, which worked out really well because my brother had his day off. Worked really well for my son. That was a stupid thing to say. I am having a rough morning, y'all.
Yeah, I know. I'm tired too. I see Lufina's in the chat already. Is she ready to come in early?
If you want to join in with us, please come to the link I sent you in our DM. You're welcome to join whenever the heck you're ready today. This morning, we've got our at least hour and a half to 2-ish hours. So hour and a half today that will be on. Please come in whenever you're ready. You got the link. Once you're set, we're good to have you. I'm so excited to talk today.
She's great.
And have this amazing conversation. Got to actually I've seen her with Fred. I've seen her. She was on with Dana and
30 minutes.
And Lawrence and it's so excited. I'm so excited to have you on. And you're so smart. Like just not like you're just so smart. Like holy shit, it was fun to see you. And I'm learning so much from so many different people, and I love getting to see the cross pollination that we're all doing with each other, and these really exciting friendships and names that we keep seeing just come up together, and it's so cool.
I wanted to say your kids we were at the sound of them playing in the background the last couple of times. It was making me, it was like, we were discussing these hard topics, but then I'd hear the sound of your kids playing and I couldn't help but just kind of break out into a smile. And they're just like, I was responding to your kids, and it's like, we're talking all these awful things, but it's so important to do that. I hope everybody in the chat knew that I was responding to the sounds of kids playing with Legos. The sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to permit ourselves those moments of joy when we hear kids playing. I mean, otherwise we're not going to make it if we don't do that.
Yeah, we have to do something for ourselves. We have to remember there's something to fight for, or something that we actually care about. Like, I care about my kids. I care about myself too. Yes, obviously I care about myself. I have worked on caring about myself for years. But I care about my kids, my wife, my friends, everyone in the chat. Like, I want to have fun too, because they can't control the fact that I'm smiling while I'm looking at them and calling them a testicle and reminding them how not inevitable they are. Like, they think they're inevitable. They think this is the only path. They think they're there. And I just like to I think it's fun that we get to remind people that no, you're not. You just make us pretend that we're all like, you force us beaten down, but you're not inevitable. Inevitability comes when we give up. And yeah, we're going to have a hard road ahead. I am not minimizing the fact that it is going to be a hard road ahead. There's generational damage which has been done to the US and around the world. And
There's that, but there's also awareness. We've got, I mean, the thing I've learned in the last 2 years, I mean, this has been a PhD level, like a doctorate class, and how to take down evil and how they get into your mind. And so in the same sense that, yeah, they're causing a lot of damage. They've killed a lot of people. We can't bring those people back. But we have also learned in this time, and we have learned what is going to be needed to fight and how to dismantle these structures of abuse. And we're not going to stop until a better society is created. So, I mean, I want people to be hopeful. I mean, the people that have lost their lives because of this administration, it will have not been in vain, because we have worked really hard, and we're going to honor their sacrifice by not allowing anything like this to ever come into power ever again in the whole history of humanity. We're never going to allow this. And so, yeah, take heart.
Yeah. We're as Joseph Perez Caputo put it the other day, when I was talking to him during the congressional interview, his candidate interview with me, he was like, we're on the verge of a renaissance in America. We could be on the verge of a true American renaissance for all of us. We could cross that bridge finally.
Yes.
We just have to have the courage to do it and say it and try it.
Yes.
And we have so much technology and so much availability that he had some really cool ideas on like economic and ecological blending on how to do like local farms and gardens in yards and turn those into communal like food centers, so we no longer live in food deserts, and it's fresh produce, things like that, things we've all been talking about that are good ideas but would be done at scale, where they could be funded to be done at scale, and you don't have to pay extra for it. It's funded through our taxes. We get that. And they also he was talking about revitalizing like native plants. And if you don't want to have a food garden, you could have a native forest or a native plant garden in your front yard or your yard. And we just get rid of this stupid European like horticulture, like cultivated yards everywhere. Like nobody needs all that shit. The HOA doesn't need to come into my front yard and mow or weed whack my grass garden that I had specifically outlined and shaped into a spot and let the wild grass grow and plants grow. And then they came and weed whacked it because they're like, your grass is too tall. And I was like, did you not notice the lights that were in here? Like, this is a purposeful statement so that my like animals could come back. I was like, bees need a place to be, and I don't want fucking flowers from Lowe's or some shit. Anyway.
I wanted to say
really cool ideas. He has some really cool ideas, but also to the folks who asked in the chat, or to Laura specifically, who asked about it, was yes, I'm going to do okay today, no matter what. We've got severe weather coming in, so we're under a special weather statement. That just means we're about to get a big thunderstorm for no reason in the middle of the morning. It's tornado season. I'm used to it, but it does throw me off for my fibro. So I am in a bit of pain, so you may see me moving around a bit more today than normal. But
what?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, thank you so much for interviewing Joseph Perez Caputo. He was, I mean, it brings such a, it's like my burden feels lifted when I see other people interviewing these candidates. When I see it, I'm scrolling through and I'm just like, so thank you so much for doing that. And you've been on a couple of those interviews with me. And I see Stephanie Hernandez is here, and I'm trying to get another interview set up with Abo. And it's just so great to see people changing these dialogues. And somebody said, we have to burn down the existing system. It starts in our thoughts. It really, and so much of how we respond to these abuses have been indoctrinated into us. And a lot of our response is conditioned to us, and it maintains these systems of abuse. It maintains patriarchal systems. when people start lecturing you about, well, you can't make them feel bad about yourself. That's maintaining patriarchy. When people go, not all men, patriarchal, that's maintaining these patriarchal systems. And we feel like we have this obligation. And that's what really we have to overcome, is this sense of obligation we have, this internal sense to maintain these abusive systems. That it's really hard to identify what those are. We've been working hard trying to identify them, but we do have the right to just push things aside. I was talking this morning. Republicans are the ones who were just threatening to annihilate an entire nation, an entire culture. And they're the ones who now have the nerve to tell us that we have to tone down how we speak. We have to not allow them to take control of narratives like that. Oh, there's Stephanie Wilson. I haven't seen Stephanie in a while, so good to see her. And it's just, it starts in our own minds and our continued dialogues, our respectful dialogues, where we're allowed to have academic disagreement. We constructively criticize each other. We build things up. We work through this. We give each other grace as we work through some of these thoughts, because it is hard to undo those things that have been part of our mindset for our whole lives. But those things, we are all enabling these false systems. All of us do. And we need to win. We have to change our mindset and start demanding things and to shake off the authoritarian lies, the lies of the patriarchy. We have to kill the patriarchy. It has to be destroyed. That's what has to, but it lives in our brains. It lives rent-free in here. And this is a big job.
Yeah. And we have to live rent-free in their brains all the time. And
demand decency, demand integrity, demand compassion. Don't let them wriggle out of it.
Yeah. Like, it's okay to remind someone that they fucking are being a giant asshole.
Oh, man.
And that what they're doing sucks. And they tell us what we do sucks all the time. Like, why should I feel bad?
Every single day we wake up, somebody's been lynched, somebody's been murdered, kids have been killed, kids have been raped, and the Republicans are lecturing us about the things we talk about. While all these real things are going on, we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of Melissa Hortman's assassination. That poor woman got assassinated, and it's right-wing rhetoric that causes people to get killed. All these school shootings are white supremacy shootings. It's the Republicans who refuse to do any gun laws. They criticize us for our dialogue, but then they'll stand up and defend hate speech and Nazi symbols. And we sit here passively allowing it. We need a new generation of leaders who's willing to call them out on this. And that's why I've been interviewing these progressive candidates, the fighters. We need people who are willing to fight for integrity and decency and the marginalized and the oppressed. And until we put them into power, things aren't going to get better.
Yeah. And we need to continue we need to actually start holding all of these people accountable.
Yes.
We keep saying it, is state attorneys general have power to do a lot of that.
Make arrests.
And I know you're starting to, I know states are starting to, but it's coming too slowly. We saw on camera, I'm pretty sure not much more evidence is actually needed to prove guilt. We've seen on all these cameras Renee Good's murder. We saw Alex Preddy's murder on camera, all of us. A jury can convict on that. A jury can convict what happened there. A jury could convict and say, yes, this agent was culpable for murder, is responsible for murder. We can do that. Why do we have to wait for more evidence? We saw it with our eyes. We all saw it live.
Yep. And our job too is when they start doing that, we have to win back the narrative. Whether they get a conviction or not is not important. We have this narrative side of it is important, because right now it's at the point where these attorney generals, they decide not to prosecute because they don't think the public mindset is ready for this. So that's why all of you guys are here. That's why we talk all the time. We have to change that public mindset and awaken people to the reality that you can demand to live in a better society, a society that's not cruel, a society that values human life, and a society that values justice. And if some corrupt federal judge throws the case out, then that's our narrative. So we can't be this results oriented, like we're not going to act because we don't think we can get the result we want. No, we have to act because acting is the right thing to do. And we have to demand justice for Good, and justice for Preddy, and justice for Porter, and justice for all these people, justice for Hortman. They deserve justice. And until we speak out and we stop and we put aside, because I get so many people with these naysaying comments like that'll never work, or don't you understand the obstacles? I'm taking those obstacles out. That's the whole point here. By demanding that we act with integrity. We have to act, though. If we don't act, we're not making any progress.
Yeah. And again, the act of trying, the actual act of doing the thing, attempting to hold people accountable, filing impeachment articles.
Yes.
Doing that thing, the actual act of trying.
Yeah. Put them in check.
Congress and judiciary. That's your damn job.
Yes.
Like your job is to try. Even if it fails, your job is to try. When the public says, we want this, you go and do your job and you try and do it.
Yes.
Stop giving the excuse of, oh, it's hard, or, oh, I don't know if I want to do this right now. It's not worth the political capital. I don't give a shit about your political capital. Your job is not to get reelected. Your job is to do the job right now so that when it comes to election time, you have a record of things that you have done for the people to prove that it is your job.
Putting them in check,
and they've made it easy and gamified it. Exactly, Courtney. It's all, again, it's this, we have gamified every single thing in our society so that it's about getting the attention and not doing the actual thing.
Right.
We've stopped doing anything past surface level in so much of our society. Like therapy, people they go to therapy, and I'm not marginalizing therapy. I go to therapy. I have gone to therapy for years. I know the power of therapy and how fucking important it is to your health. A lot of people have gamified therapy with the apps and the services so that you are doing is getting the reward and the dopamine hit of being told, I am part of this group of people. That's not therapy. That's not helping you. That's not helping your disability. That's not helping the community that you are now a part of. If you have that disability, it's hurting you because you're not actually doing anything. You're just sitting there going, I have this box.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. A record of getting things done doesn't necessarily translate into votes. Look at what happened with Kamala and Hillary Clinton.
Kamala was cheated, though. I mean,
Kamala was thrown into the middle of an election, given the shortest amount of time in history to run her own election. And we say, look how the black woman failed.
It's glass cliff.
The Democrats set her up on a cliff, on a glass cliff that was already cracked. We didn't even wait. We didn't even give her a chance to run a real presidency or a real run for president.
Biden should have withdrawn, signed her in.
That election was manipulated. Donald Trump fraudulently manipulated that election. 34-time fraud count. He is a felon because of that election. So no, getting shit done doesn't translate into votes when the election is tampered with in the way that Donald Trump did that. And that's a Donald Trump problem, and that's an us problem for not actually doing things for it. I'm not going to condemn Kamala or Clinton for their runs for office. I wish they had both won, obviously, because we would not be in this situation right now. But it's not about the fact that they didn't turn out the vote. It is the fact that Republicans have rigged the system so that it didn't matter how many people they tried to turn out to vote. That's the difference, is the Republicans gerrymander and rig the system itself.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming the candidate. I could blame the party, but not the candidate.
Yeah.
I blame the parties and I blame the Republicans specifically, but I blame the Democrats for not doing their damn job to fight harder against it because it's their job. Yeah, it's all about apathy.
Our whole society victim shames. You know, they blame the voters when the voters were cheated. I want to get back to what something Jennifer said, because she mentioned a society that thrives on humanity is not profitable. That is all the fucking oligarchy is about. And that's true. But I think we have to get away from the idea of profit justifying things. I think that's a really, really interesting comment. And I agree with what Jennifer's saying there. But I think also, too, it's like once we get away from the idea of profit, we recognize how much more people get. Because if we educate all of our best minds, they will have, I mean, there's no reason we shouldn't have cures for cancer. I mean, brilliant minds that are not allowed to get an education because they're stuck working some job. And so what is better? Profit is bad for humanity. I mean, slavery is profitable if you don't have to pay your slaves. I mean, so we got to just stop. And by default, and this is kind of what I was talking about before, we have all these mechanisms where when somebody's like, well, he's just trying to make a buck, they're just trying to, earn a living. It's like, that is evil. You can't use that as a justification for your actions. It doesn't justify immoral behavior. And our entire society is built upon immoral behavior. And again, we are all conditioned to victim shame rather than demand equality and demand accountability and demand justice. But that was a wonderful comment, Jennifer, and it's so good because it illustrates so many of the things that are going on today. And oligarchy absolutely is evil. This for-profit system is evil, and everybody can have more if we stop wasting much of our resources oppressing our best people, and we instead lift them all up and we all rise together. And once we understand that and demand it, then we'll have the society that the human beings, were put in the universe to have, which has been taken from us until now.
Yeah, and it's the oligarchs. Well, Evie, this is a great point, but I'll change one word for you. The robber barons' goal is to be ungovernable without us noticing, and they overplayed their hands now. Absolutely. I don't like the word oligarchs because I'm American. I'm an American.
Yeah, robber baron.
America. We say robber barons here because they rob us baron and they take all our shit. So it's also it feels more weighty in English to say robber baron than oligarch, because oligarch is also the Russian word, and I'd love to stop Russifying shit, because fuck that. Like, can we stop Russifying things?
All the plantation owners.
Call them plantation owners or slave owners or new Confederates or whatever, but I don't want to call them. Robber baron is visceral. Like, you're a fucking robber baron. Fuck you.
Yep.
Like,
and Jennifer
that
says,
type of shit.
Jennifer says, you know what? The kicker, a country run on profit is also dependent on the workers who keep the wheels turning. So if we just stop even for a short period of time, it will collapse. And that's the psychological element, because they've tricked us into maintaining this system that oppresses us. And we do it in so many different ways without realizing it. I've spent my whole life unpacking it, and I'm maybe a tenth of the way in, like the layers upon layers upon layers of ways they make us put the parking brake on our activism. And it's getting to the point now where I'm starting to get more, I don't know if it's because I'm tired. I'm just starting to get hostile. I'm getting some notes, people get into me and I'm just like, and they always come at you as if you're the one. Oh, Walter, like they're explaining something to you when they've been programmed by robber baron media or planner media or whatever you want to call it, Confederacy, enabling media. And they're trying to explain something to me when they're the ones. They're like defiant and entitled ignorance. They're spewing it at me. And then the second I point it out, they switch it. So, well, now you're being rude. Or now I just said I disagreed with you and now you can't take it. And it's just like, you provided no evidence. You provided no merit. You just kind of lazily woke up and with the sleep in your eyes, read something you'd been programmed to disagree with. And you're, I'm going to score a point on this guy. And then when I call you out on it, they instantly double down. They become hostile. And what you never see people do is practice accountability. And that really, as you've said with your intelligent masculinities talks, that really is one of the first, there's many doors. That's one of the big ones. That's one to turn to when you don't know what to do. Be accountable.
Yeah. And accountability is so many different things. It's very layered. And we're not asking for simple accountability. Like, I don't want baseline accountability for people anymore. Like, we've been asking for the minimum level of accountability for too long, and we can't even get that. So I'm going to just start saying we demand the maximum level of accountability, because the Republican Party wields their power without restraint. And they go as far into their power as they can. They try and be as ruthless with their power as they can. They try and be as powerful with whatever power they have, or they abdicate all of certain powers so that another person in their ranks can be more powerful. But they always wield their power to the maximum. Democrats tend to wield their power to the minimum because they don't want to overreach ever.
Yeah.
That's a fucking failure.
Yep. Well, they're all
That's a huge
for.
failure, because power is, in our system, in a democratic system, is supposed to be shared amongst Congress for the most part. And we've abdicated almost all of that power away. And Congress needs to come in, which is why Walter and I are so big on doing candidate interviews right now and talking to candidates and getting candidates out there. Tomorrow I'm going to be with Oregon's gubernatorial candidate, Brittany Jones. Me and Rachel Marin are going to do, and Rachel's a constituent. And so she would be her governor. And so I'm excited to have Rachel, and I'm excited for Rachel and I to be able to ask questions to Brittany and get some thoughts on the Oregon race. Like, I lived in Washington State for nearly a decade. I love that area. It's beautiful. And Oregon's such a wonderful state. And I want them to have an amazing governor. And I want them to have a progressive governor who works with other progressives in a network and a coalition. And we're finally, I think, doing real coalition building on the left before the election actually happens, like on a broad national scale publicly. I think that's the difference this time, is progressives are finally not sitting back. We're not quiet right now. We're not the silent left anymore.
People are fed up with the Democrats, the establishment. They're fed up, and we're allowed to talk about that. We're fed up with how the representatives are not doing anything for us.
And I think that actually does, and I know that does good. People are like, why are you critical of the Democrats? Why? Because if we are critical of them, and if we make them better and more willing to listen to us, their numbers will go up, because people will start listening to them, because they'll be like, oh, they're listening to me. I like this. I like hearing from somebody who actually wants to fucking listen to me and hear what I have to say. And then they'll become engaged and not be lectured. And that makes such a difference. And you can see it because Democrats are winning.
Yeah.
But they're not the nationally named, huge, recognized Democrats. They are just people who are winning in huge numbers.
And primaries are a performance review. That is why we have this system of primaries. The entitlement of the Democratic Party, which I've been seeing over and over again, where they try to either pressure primary challengers to withdraw, or they make the system so hard to get on the ballot that they never face a challenger. That's a corruption of our system, because we can't have insulated politicians who are never forced to talk to the people, that are never forced to hear our problems. And when they try to take the primary system out of the whole equation, and I keep saying, you guys, our entire corrupt media, it is corrupt. Our political system is corrupt. And they are deliberately trying to distract us from the power that we wield in these primaries, because they know in some districts, it only takes 10,000 votes to defeat a candidate, to put a progressive in. And that's why nobody talks about it. And I'm starting to get more and more angry. I've got wonderful people like Nick helping me. But I mean, it's these big creators who are the celebrities of Substack or whatever. They should be the ones doing what I'm doing, with the same level, interviewing all because we have a right to hear from these candidates. And we have too many celebrity creators who want to maintain their access to the representatives who are already in power, and they refuse to do their job. And their job is to tell the people that they have a choice, and to listen to the people who say that this generation of representatives is not serving us, to apply pressure on them to take action now, because kids are dying. Kids are getting raped in concentration camps in the United States that our tax dollars are paying for, And our current crop of representatives isn't doing a goddamn thing. They're not marching on those buildings. They're not coming in there with their videos and exposing what's happening. We're not holding people to account. Minnesota did just issue their one warrant. We need more of that. We need that in every single state where ICE is. We need to put these efforts on. And primaries are healthy. They activate the public. They rouse the public. They let people know when the dates are. And they create name recognition. So we don't have one candidate who's in office for 60 years. We have whole generations of young people from every generation, from all kinds of backgrounds. The fact that our Democratic Party has been stifling the primaries is anti-democratic. That is a form of fascism. And we have to make them stop doing it. We have to elevate these candidates.
Yes. Yeah. Like, no, can't say anything against it. Can't say anything against that. It's good that I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm glad that we are not shying away from it. And I'm glad that we are just willing to go there and not ask for the big. I'm actually more glad that we're not asking anymore for like big name folks to try and do these things. We're just hey, we're gonna do it.
It's this wave.
And then we're gonna put it in your face and just say, and then we'll tag you after we've done it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you should interview this person. See, we're doing it. You should too.
Some of them are getting in.
We don't wait for permit. We're not waiting for permission.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
And
I'm too old for that. I'm 51. I'm done waiting. I've done enough shit. I've had jobs. I've raised kids. I've been married for 17 years. Who the fuck is anybody to tell me that they can give me permission? I'm an adult. You know, I've done so, and you know what else? I'm not in the Epstein files. That's another thing. I've never I'm not on a redemption arc because I've never done these horrible things to people. I've been a good person. I've made a really hard effort all my life. I've made mistakes along the way, but I've taken accountability. I've learned for those things. And there's nobody I'm seeing in our entire political sphere that has any right whatsoever to try and target my speech, police my speech. Hell no. They can sit down and shut up and listen to me for a change, because listening to them is what got us here. We need something different.
Yeah. And if we don't wait for permission, we become the new standard. And I'm not saying, and again, well, let's make sure this conversation is real clear. This is not a conversation about consent. This is a conversation about political power and political usage. Let's be super clear on that. As we add a friend to our conversation.
Oh, yay! Awesome.
Hey, good morning, or good evening, or good time of day for you. Welcome. It's so good to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It is amazing to be here. I just went live with Walter yesterday.
Yeah,
and it was fantastic. Loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Can you introduce yourself for everyone for us,
of course,
so that I'm sure people have seen you around a lot, but you may be new to a lot of folks still.
That's true. I just joined at the end of February this year, so it's been a ride. Yeah. So my name is Lufina. I started the Letters from a Feminist because I just want to bring a more feminist perspective in the media and just here on Substack, and it's been going amazing. I've seen you guys around a lot, especially with Frederick and also with Dana and Lawrence. And yeah, to be honest, I couldn't differentiate the two of you first.
We were one person, me and Nick.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, you guys have similar profiles and similar messagings.
Walter's daughter actually made the profile image for both of us.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, the art one with me doing that. Yeah, we've got. Yeah, that is a celebration. Good job, Apple. Good job.
That is awesome. Yeah. We had a whole bunch of them for a while. That's kind of cool.
We're still waiting on Eric or Evans so that we can do the Diogenes Club one.
Oh yeah. She's been busy with a lot of stuff. But yeah.
When she gets there, and we'll have it. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, I will.
So, welcome to Mid Conversation as we talk about political consent and the will to do something. And I know we're going to have a lot to talk about today.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your thoughts because you're not from the US.
No, I'm not.
And so
Yeah.
I want to hear your thoughts from an outsider's perspective of like, what does it look like we're doing right now? What do we look like in your eyes as someone who's not from, like, what do we look like? How bad do we look right now?
Really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
As my parents are Gen X like you guys, and they absolutely are on Facebook all the time. They're always consuming the media, and they just call the Americans like the idiots. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
No,
My
but
poor daughter says that too.
but I think it's with what I see, and I just think that it's not you as an American. I just think it's the whole system. Like, it's the whole government that's the problem. It's not really you. But at the same time, it's like, how did they let this happen? That's kind of what the thinking is from the outside. Yeah. But I think I'm more sympathetic than most. Some people really do hate America. And most specifically, mostly Trump, but just like the whole, the foreign policy for starters. And that's like a whole, conversation to start with. But I just don't think they're looking that great, like so far.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, it is sad though, because I think Americans are amazing people. You guys are amazing. Yeah.
My poor daughter, she'll come home and just be so frustrated. It's like the people in my class, and she'll just get so mad, but I mean, she didn't have social media when she was growing up. She didn't sit there with a tablet, and I'm going to show one of her pictures later on today. And it's just like so much. And like you said, the system it's like, it's not how did this happen? It's the system is working as intended, and that's what we have to fix in this country. And people have awakened to it. We're getting a movement of people who've awakened to this. And what I wrote down before as we were talking is you never need consent to stand up for yourself. That's, I think, is one of the things we've been deluded to believe, that we have to ask for consent from evil people just to stand up to defend our rights. And that's a thing. That's a subtle thing, but it's deeply ingrained in our reaction. It's our instinctive response. We can stand up for ourselves. We don't need the consent of the Republican Party to stand up and defend ourselves. And once America figures that out, it's going to be good, not just for this country, but for everywhere in the world. We can undo many of the wrongs of this country.
Yeah, that's why I'm so vocal about American politics, because what is happening domestically for you guys is there's ripple effects, and everyone feels it from everyone else. So I think non-Americans, we are all affected by it, and we should all get involved, because we're always gonna be affected by it because of the war, for example. But it's just one.
Yeah, it's got to be stopped.
And I'll give one correction. I'm not Gen X. I'm a millennial.
So really?
Don't lump me in with those folks. Don't lump me in. They're the ones everyone forgot. We're the ones who got gaslit for everything. I'm just mad that we got gaslit for everything, and I don't want my kids to be gaslit.
It's the statemanly beard that made it.
Yeah, it's the beautiful beard. Yeah, it's the balding that makes me look older.
No, that's not
the beard that makes me look beautiful.
Maybe it's just your wisdom.
No, it's okay. I do this in jest. So I know you found us because we talk a lot. Walter and I talk a lot about our kids, and a lot about it would be feminine adjacent in my opinion, or feminist adjacent in my opinion, because I don't actually call myself a feminist. I just call myself a person who I just call myself a decent person or like empathetic, but I don't call myself a feminist because I think the right has toxified the language in a way that is destructive for men to call themselves feminists. And I think I don't like labels, and I don't really like labels because I think we've overuse them in a lot of ways, where we gamify everything, and the achievement that we get is we get the label, and we can call ourselves part of a group, but we don't actually become part of that group because we're only surface level doing the thing that group is about, or is defined as. And like, to me, we've just become really shallow in many ways. Is that something you see for, especially for young men and older boys
I
who
think
are coming up?
I think, to be honest, your point, like, I think that's so true. Your actions are so much more important than what you call yourself. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the media has tried to completely stigmatize feminism from like our daily language and just how we perceive it from the media and from, you know, daily conversation. So, I mean, I do agree with you. You shouldn't just lightly call yourself feminist or do that for attention or for whatever you are like benefiting it from. But at the same time, we should be like brave enough to call ourselves a feminist because I mean, yeah, people are going to trash talk about you or they're not going to take you seriously if you say it. But I do think that it is important to call yourself that, especially when you guys are, I think, in my opinion, you guys are feminists. And I think everyone can be feminist because it is like humanist, you know, like
Yes.
feminism
Yes.
is about humanity. It's not
Yes.
about gender. I mean, it is obviously about the equality of the sexes and stuff, but at the end of the goal, it's just to be better humans
Yes.
together. So that's
Mhm.
why I think we have to be more braver. But on younger men's, they are completely allergic to the word.
Yes.
They absolutely despise the word because they have been fed algorithmically, systemically. They've just been taught to hate it from they like whenever they had got their hands on the internet, but also from what they hear from other men as well.
People are asking, where are you from, Zofina? We never covered that last time. Or I don't know
I'm
if you don't
from-
want to say. Don't have to say.
No, I mean, I don't talk about myself. I don't put my name out there
Okay.
for privacy issues. But I will tell, because I am very proud of where I come from. I'm from Uzbekistan, so that's a Central Asian country, yes. It's very tiny. I like to joke around that people know two Asians, and one is Southern Asian, so Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshi people, and the other are Korean, Chinese, and I fall like right in the gap. So, yeah, it's interesting because
that's
not a lot of
amazing.
people know it, but I'm very proud to be Uzbek. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love that. Thank you for that's so cool.
Yeah.
You're the first person from Uzbekistan I've ever met.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
That's
I
nice.
have now added another country to my list of people that I have met from different areas. I love meeting new people from all around the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to travel when I was in college. I got to travel when I was out of college. I got to travel for the military. Some of that is not by choice, but I got to travel for the military. But I also traveled after and have lived in Central American or tried to live in Central America for a little while. And I just like meeting new people. And so it's really cool to add another country to the list.
The curiosity you meet when you go to a new country, it's always curiosity. Every time I've gone, the people are just like, oh, because you look different and they're just amazed by it. And it's just like you see beauty, you know, among each other because it's like that's exotic and different. And it's so good for the soul to go to places like that.
And I think it's also like so like radical in a way because you're going out there and you realize, hey, foreigners are not gonna like bite you or they're not gonna hurt you. They're accepting you to your home and they're immersing you in your own. Yeah, exactly. So I think traveling, like I know some Americans, they don't even have passports. Like they don't even need passports. They just have to stay in America. It's like a huge place. So
they're indoctrinated to never leave. And it's like when I lived in Peru, people are like, oh, aren't you scared? I'm like, I feel so much safer in Peru than I ever did in the United States. It's like, and also I can get doctors to come to my house and they charge me like $1 to fix me. And it's like, so it's like, but you just can't get through it. All that conditioning, like the way Americans, the framing of every argument. And that's kind of what you were talking about before with terms like feminism. We have to be afraid not to just default to the Republican framing on every single issue because it's designed so that the way the article is framed that we can't make progress. We have to break it. It's like I wrote an article about using linear models, you know, like a straight line. It's like you add another axis in there and you start plotting things out, you know, in 2 dimensions, you get a much better viewpoint. If you add a third axis, now you've got functional reality. But we default to like, oh, right, left, center, as if that's true, and it's a complete lie. And because of that framing, and that's why it's good to have these conversations like you were having before about words like whether you should call yourself feminist or humanist, and just recognize it's like shake away that framing you're using, find a whole new framing, and then we'll find the answers we need.
Yeah.
So with some of the things that are going on, one of the things I talk about, and Walter and I have talked about, is this accelerationist movement where people are accelerating towards like an end time. Like they They think the end is coming, so they just want to get there faster.
Oh my
It's
God.
folks like Nick Fuentes in America who has his neo-Nazi Groyper movement, where
Oh,
they
yeah.
are right wing, really far right wing, but they also have some very leftist
Oh,
thoughts on things.
that's
Like
funny.
they're much more open to some things. Like a lot of them have less problem with LGBTQ rights.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take the T out of there. Um, maybe they don't like trans rights, which still means they don't like LGBTQ rights in general. But they claim to like them, but they're super accelerating towards chaos. Is that something you're seeing to where you are? And is it, do you see it as a product of what America is exporting, or is
Mm-hmm.
it a product that is being maybe exported from elsewhere too? Is it just an American export? Because I know we export hate in many ways,
Yes.
but is
Yes.
it also being influenced by other powers in your area too?
Yes.
And what can
Absolutely.
we do to help support like the fight against that?
Yeah, and you raise a very interesting point because I remember an example of how much American politics influence, just our just everything and from the outside is I remember the whole Mamdani elections. It was like a whole movement because I mean he was going viral on social media and obviously we have access to it and American politics is something that is always in our like bubble I would say, and so we were like when he won. My parents were going berserk, like they were so excited and they're so happy. So it just shows how much of an influence America is in terms of social media. Yes, I absolutely do see that. And I've never heard of that concept before. The whole like, going towards the chaos, like we want to be in the chaos. Because I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like we feel like we've gotten to the point where we just want to like give up because everything just it feels like there's no hope left.
Yeah.
But yeah, people like Nick Fuentes and the whole, like manosphere, that's something I see from, my cousins and nephews in Uzbekistan. And they're in Central Asia. And
Yeah.
they know who Andrew Tate is because they have access to the internet. And yeah, they just see everything. But it's not only America, I just think it's like the West in general. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the white supremacy culture, American white
Mm-hmm.
supremacy culture,
Mm-hmm.
the whole we've got to dominate the whole world. We need the biggest
Oh, yeah.
military in the world, all these things. And it's up to the
Absolutely.
individual people because it's one I work on that a lot. And it overlaps with patriarchal thinking and authoritarian condition. All these things are interconnected. I work on that with
Mm-hmm.
Will Fullwood a lot, just diagramming how our kids are indoctrinated with racism in public schools, in private schools, like from the earliest age, they're targeted and book bans and things we're not allowed
Mm.
to talk about. Just cultivating healthy relationships. It doesn't happen here. All these things. It's a big mountain we have to climb, but we've
Yeah.
got we've got the rest of our lives to do it, right? And there's a
Yeah.
lot of us, and we're on the side of right.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, Nick, you just mentioned what we can do to help is just you're already helping. Like your platform, it's already reaching people, and you're already spreading positivity and hope, and that's what we need. We need more people as well. But I mean, yeah, I think we just need more people to be vocal about it and
Yeah.
not lose hope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting part of this is I had a conversation yesterday about writing with autism. We had a guest on my chronic illness
Yeah.
show,
Mm.
and he was talking about the importance of words and how we
Mm.
communicate about things, but he understands a lot about cognitive biases
Mm.
and we have to
Mm-hmm.
we're really breaking through cognitive biases right now. Like
Yeah.
we as a whole, not just the states, because the states we're pretty fucked up, and
Yep.
we need to break through this bias. Like we're pretty messed up here, and we need to break through
Yeah.
these cognitive biases and these like first step assumptions where you walk
Yeah.
into the room and you're like, oh, I already know exactly who this human being is before
Yeah.
they've ever
Oh,
said a
yeah.
Yeah.
word,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
bullshit because every human being is unique and different, and you don't know anybody's story until they've told it
Mm-hmm.
to you. And so you should just sit and listen. Is we need to talk about like those biases and how we break through them.
Yes.
Someone made a really good comment in our chat was the dictionary knows I'm a feminist. I know just like you, friend, I know I'm a feminist. I know Walter's a feminist. I don't label myself that because I don't care about the label. Other people will call me that, and I don't mind because it is an accurate description, just like yours. But continuing the comment though, but since the purpose of language is communication, and since many, especially MAGA men, have been taught an inaccurate and derogatory definition, I do not describe myself to them as one until we can agree on what it means, so they cannot dismiss me according to their unbiased or their biased assumptions. Exactly.
Strategy and how you
strategic use of language, because words mean things, and if we use words in the right way, they mean really important things.
Yeah. And the right knows how to defile words and turn them, I mean, we can't even say you're anti-fascist in the United States because that's like the messaging, how effective the right is. And it's like, really? So you guys are pro-fascism? And they've managed to make that a normalized statement in this country. And our side, the side of reason, people like me who don't have much of a platform have been fighting against this. But the guys that are supposed to represent us, who have huge platforms, they just default. Well, they don't like it if we say that, so let's just lay down and let them roll right over us. And it's like, that's why we're trying to elect a new round of progressive candidates.
And then that's why, as you mentioned, we have to stop waiting or stop asking for consent from what they think is okay and what they think it's not okay to say.
Yes.
At all. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And we have to be willing to say what's needed. You already say what is willing to be and needed to be said. And I'd love your thoughts on this, because obviously you've seen my stuff and you know who I am, because I've seen you in my chats a lot, and you are very active and a wonderful part of the community in general. What do you see as like the next step of needs because I'm not asking more for women to do, I can't ask more for women to do, especially as a white male. Like, I can't ask for others to do the things that need to be done that we should be doing. And as someone who's not an American, but as someone who is just a human with us here in this conversation about breaking through the manosphere and destroying this cycle of violence and abuse in that sphere, because we're going to talk about that with some of our notes and the things that we do. We'll shift here in a minute to the artwork, because I know we're on limited time, so I'm trying to weave a little bit here, y'all. Unlike Donald Trump, I will get somewhere that's important and I won't just make shit up. But is like, what do you see your work doing? And how do you see our work, the work that Walter and I are doing, the masculinity discussions we're having, the men's clubs that we're doing? How do you see that supporting what you and other women are already doing, and making it easier to break through the manosphere?
I think what you guys do is to just hold each other more accountable. Like, that's one of the most important things, is to just understand that your actions do have consequences, and just realize that you have to take the small steps, even if it doesn't feel that like grand. Like, you just have to refuse the sexist jokes. You have to refuse the people who are complicit in your own social circle to, like the sexist conversations or the locker room talk, right? And then just like refuse the content. Like, I think the shame that we women have carried for so long, it needs to change sides. We have to obviously stop treating women who are the victims as the perpetrators or the criminals who have to be tried. And I just really think that men have to finally choose to be better than the system that protects them, because the system, it's supposed to be built to uphold, like, to benefit them, but patriarchy, and it's just like, consumes them as fuel, and they don't benefit them in the long run at all. Because we talked about this, Walter, yesterday. It does make men like half humans, and they can't form connections, they can't be empathetic. I just don't think in the long run men are not able to have the whole human experience. So
Correct.
I just
Well
hope,
said.
I just hope people are more accountable. And that's it.
I'm gonna get you on for an intelligent masculinity discussion.
Oh, good idea.
I'm actually working to, I think I'm gonna rebrand that one a little bit,
Mm.
not because I don't like the show, I love doing the
Mm.
show, but because we're
That's amazing.
expanding the conversations to more intelligent humaning,
Yeah.
and just a better humaning experience. And what you just said, like, was the definition that I came up with for intelligent
Oh wow.
masculinity. Basically,
That's
so what I have for working definition is intelligent masculinity is the refusal to outsource accountability onto others and the discipline to live with the consequences of your values and actions.
yeah.
And
That's
you
amazing.
basically said all of that. And I was like, she's going to say the exact definition that I wrote down, and she's going to be the first person who's ever just said it without me saying it. And I was like, yes, I love hearing that, like, the work that we're doing actually just matches up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
don't want to waste our efforts. Like, if we're doing the wrong thing and we're out here saying shit that's not helpful, like, I want to do better.
Yeah.
And I'm glad
that's
that
true.
we're on track for that.
I-
And it's reassuring. And yes, folks in the chat, like, please reach out. Chris, if you want to reach out and become part of the conversation, glad to have interviews. I'm getting help from my friend Courtney. We're working on a booking tool for the Broad Banner calendar system. So we're going to make it easier to request interviews and get stuff on there so people can become part of the community, almost like a volunteer and support list. We'll ask for basic information from y'all. We're not here to sell anything. Your information will never be sold. I do not sell information because it's your information and I'm just using it because you've given it to me for a little bit and nobody else needs that shit. Anyway, I'm glad that it's reassuring to know that we're on track. Because as my shirt says, when one member of the party, when someone attacks one member, we all roll for initiative. Because
that's amazing.
We have to, like, we stand up for each other, or we fall down alone. And I'm not going to fall alone. So I love that we're doing. And I love that you're here. This is so much fun.
Thank you.
You're really awesome. You're really cool. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I also want to.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. Go ahead. Before we switch to the artwork.
Of course, I wanted to mention that I think a lot of men need this kind of content. Like, they don't know that they need it, but they actually do need it. I remember I didn't turn on paid subscribers. I just feel uncomfortable with money, but I had like pledges, and they were both like for men, and they were like, "I love what you're doing, and it's so important to have these conversations." And it was incredible. Like, these men, they're like pledging, obviously money for me, but I just think that it just proves that more men want this. But they just need the push, they just need to see more people doing it as well. Yeah.
We left a void. We were silent for too long. It was the trap for good men, which there are good men out there. We were just like, we don't need to be loud and obnoxious to be who we are, but we kind of do. We have to be loud and obnoxious. One of those being loud and obnoxious things that we like to do is Walter and I celebrate on purpose our children because they're freaking amazing. And I love my kids and I love the creativity that they have. And we're going to do, and patriarchy hurts men. Patriarchy specifically hurts men because it's intended to make us feel sad, mad. We used to be able to feel happy, sad, mad, but happy became a problem because we wanted more as the little people. So now we only get sad, mad. And that's what patriarchy teaches you. It really is that simple. It's simplistic, but it's not easy. And so I like feeling happy because happy comes with a lot of things. And one of those things is to celebrate the artwork from our kiddos.
Yay!
And Walter, we're going to start with your piece today. Can you talk about this beautiful piece of artwork for us?
Yeah, I was telling Lufina about this. Is from the stories I write for my kids. And over this weekend, because I keep being on them, I'm like, you guys, we have to illustrate because I got to do the first book because I've got this stack of books that I've written for my kids. So over the weekend, we did an art day, and I read the first couple chapters again. And so what's happening here is that's Cosette. In my what I love about this is this story. I've only read it to him one time, and we started reading it again, and they remembered everything. And I'm like, oh my goodness! Like every little. I hated it when this happened. They said I haven't read this again for 5 years. And in this scene, Cosette is this. She's a winter fairy, but she was a foundling. So like the summer fairies found her and they kind of treat her, they're kind of disrespectful, and it's kind of racism because she's the only winter fairy among them. So they make her be a dressmaker. She has to make all these dresses. So she gets this assignment where she has to make a dress that's as light as a feather, but as warm as a summer's day. So she goes out and she gets baby's wool, and then she goes to Mr. Spider to have him weave it with silk to make a fabric for her that's light and warm. And there's Dalliance the Pixie and Morpheus, the blue blob there. He's Morpheus the Sprite. He has no mass. He's like kind of this shadow. There's a lot of these shadow characters. Anyway, so I read this scene. So this is them approaching the spider. And it's just so fun to see how it looked in their minds. Isn't that what's fun? It's like I'd read this story and it's like how it looked in their mind is like this. And I just think it's so cool.
And it also proves that, sorry to cut you off, but it just proves that like kids really do look up to their parents and they listen to everything you do. And yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, and they absorb it. I've said that when I've read to them, it seems like they were distracted and then they just like repeat absolutely everything in it. And so I just love this. She first started doing it as watercolor, but then she's like, no. And she disappeared for like an hour and did it digitally. And she emerged with this. And I'm like, holy cow. I just think it's so fun. And I keep teasing
He's
this
very
book.
talented.
Oh, thanks. I keep teasing this book because I'm like, at some point I am probably just going to release it here first on Substack. And then maybe I'll do a print run of 1,000 or something. But if she gets enough of these, maybe I'll do a calendar. But I mean, it's just fun. And it's really neat to have, because I've just sidestepped. I'm like, I've just given up on traditional, like Robert Barron Media ever giving me a big contract. I'm just like, I'm just going to write my own books and read them to my kids. And it's part of it. And my wife got to hear it for the first time too, because she's never heard these stories. She was laying on the couch. And my kids, as I was reading it, I'm just like, they're pointing out the things that are inconsistencies. I'm like, and I'm editing it as I'm going through it. My wife's like, be quiet, just read the story, So it was this really fun thing over the weekend, and that's how I kind of recharged. So hopefully you'll get more pictures from it's Cosette and the Secrets of the Tooth Fairies. It started with letters to the Tooth Fairy because they'd write letters to the Tooth Fairy, and the Tooth Fairy would always leave these very long replies, And they kind of turned into, and then using that as our source material, we ended up with this book, this series of the whole fairy universe. So you guys will get to hear that at some point.
I love it. I would read that. I would honestly buy that book.
I've asked him so many times to get it done so that I can read it too. My wife used to make up a story called "The Boy Who Never Slept" or "The Prince Who Never Slept," and she would tell these elaborate stories of our son, the Prince Who Never Slept, of him hiding in different places until the king and queen could find him. Yeah. And he would always be asleep by the time they found him.
That's a great book. That's a great
book. And I keep telling her, I was like, I need to get you to write these down so that we can have our daughter draw them or somebody draw them because it would be so fun.
It'd be like Goodnight Moon. That would be a book to read to kids as they're going to sleep, and there's not enough. Goodnight Moon is a good one. The reason I started writing this book because there weren't enough, and it's all designed to be performed. It's mostly dialogue, and you have to know all the voices. My kids used to call me out if I forgot who was talking and I didn't do the pirate voice. Daddy, that's not the pirate voice. So I'd have to go back and do it. And it's so perfect. Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun.
Oh, I love that. All right, we're going to move to our next piece. This one coming up is, I showed it last week. It was a short 3-frame animation. My daughter's working on this. It's now a longer animation. So I'm excited to show this one off. She keeps working on it, and it's so fun to watch. Hold on, let me see if it actually runs.
Ooh, the eyes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, they changed.
Oh my goodness.
Hardcore. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. And it actually loops itself. This is perfect.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
So she's learning how to...
Sorry, it kind of reminds me of Voldemort. Like the red eyes and everything. Yeah.
I was thinking of the Sith. Yeah.
We do she watches a lot of anime. And so one of I don't know, this reminds me of Dr. Stone, which is one of the animes where people got like petrified.
Mm.
And only a few people didn't get petrified. There was some weird thing that happened,
Oh, I
but
get you.
it was like 1,000 years or something later. The people were finally able to unpetrify themselves, and it healed them all these illnesses, but they have these cracks, like stone cracks on them,
Yeah,
and that's what
Oh,
it reminds me of. And
yeah.
but she's working on eyes, and she has been for a while, and her growth around like eye movement is really cool, and I love seeing
yeah.
all the like joy and effort she gets out of this. And I'm so proud of her when she does it. Like, it's so cool. I can
That's
draw,
really
but I
cool.
can't draw like this. And she's all self-taught. Like, we've never brought her
Yeah.
to art classes outside
That's the
of
best
what
way.
she does. And
Yeah.
she's taught
Oh,
herself. She went on YouTube, and we gave her some
Yeah.
art lessons on YouTube, and we're like, here's some really good art teachers. Go learn. And she did. And then she found more. And then she kept watching anime. She's like, I'm going to draw this. And now she does. And it's super
that's
awesome.
beautiful.
I love my daughter for
Yeah,
her
and it's
all
really
the work.
great because I feel like in that generation is specifically like
Yeah.
these kids, they are like glued to the screen. But
Yeah.
like she's wanting to draw all of this and spend her time, which
Yes.
from the outside it may seem like worthless because you're not getting any benefits from it, but it's beautiful because this is what, in my opinion, this is what humans should do in the free time instead
Yes.
of doing scrolling.
And those tutorials are great. I mean, the various
Yeah.
channels on YouTube will teach you a lot of skills so that the kids are gravitating towards that and then creating art. That's a good work. That's a positive use of the internet, and we should be encouraging that.
Yes.
So it's great. I love to see that.
Absolutely.
And thanks. And I'll pass on the praise as always to my
Good.
daughter. I always tell her after the shows
Yes.
about the
Please
responses
do.
that she gets. And she does ask about them too. She comes home, she's like, did you show any new pieces? Like, did you show this one today? Did you show that one? Or what did they
Oh,
think?
Yeah.
I love giving her the feedback because you guys always give really great feedback.
Good.
And I'm
Yeah.
excited to show this next one because this is yours from
Ooh.
today that you
yes.
submitted. And I want to hear why you love this piece and some of the significance, because this is a famous piece.
Well, I
Or
mean,
more
I guess
famous.
so. Yeah,
More
I guess.
famous.
Yes. So basically, the context of this, it's called "Girl Call Me to Tea." And it was made in 1957. So this is an Uzbek painting. It was made during the Soviet times. So Uzbekistan was under the USSR for quite a while, I think from the beginning, and then we got our independence in 1991. But that's where it's archived there, and it's really beautiful because it reminds me of my culture. Because this was basically, so you see that there is something like next to her feet. It's like something like black. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that thing that used to be part of my childhood. So in the morning, whenever I was like in the summer, I used to bring my grandfather this, and he would do like, so basically you do ablution before you pray, in Islam. So I used to go and run up to him and give that to him, and he would like, clean his hands, clean his face, and all of that. And I just think it's really beautiful because it reminds me of like the villages I used to grow up in Uzbekistan, and it's just.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to look at as well.
So
Yeah.
is growing up for you was your is Uzbek culture more I'm hoping I used the correct word there.
Go
Is
ahead.
it more an agrarian culture or a nomadic culture? Are you
I
was it growing up stable or were you nomadic in
yeah.
ways?
No, I think it is very stable because I mean Uzbekistan's climate is very like unique in its way because it is a landlocked country, but at the same time
Oh,
there is like so part of Uzbekistan is actually completely deserted, like it's a desert, but
okay.
the other side is like full of mountains and it's beautiful in the spring and there's always like snow there, like a proper seasons. And when I grew up, so my parents, they come from the same like city, but they come from different sides. So my mom comes from, so she's basically Tajik. So Tajikistan is like next to Uzbekistan. It's more like Farsi, and she knows
Mhm.
how to speak Farsi. And so
Wow.
yeah, it's just really beautiful. And I've always like stayed in the same place, but I don't think it's really that nomadic. I think the Kazakh people and the Kyrgyz people, those Central Asians, our neighbors, they're all more nomadic than us. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Awesome. I know
Yeah.
so little about
Yeah.
Uzbekistan. This is really
No, you
cool
should
to.
totally go for a vacation. It's super cheap and people love tourists.
I
Beautiful.
never even thought of that. Like I've always, I mean, I've been to Afghanistan. I've been to that
Oh,
area of the
beautiful.
world,
Mm.
and well, I went when I went to Afghanistan, we were right on the Hindu Kush Mountains, and
Oh, yes.
I got to sit out at night and just see the mountains at night
Yeah, it's
and just some
beautiful.
beautiful
Mm-hmm.
scenery. And I
Yeah.
wish it wasn't at war. I wish it was a place that people could go and travel to because it was
Yeah.
so beautiful out there. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I would come here to vacation and go hike if we weren't encouraging violence and murdering people for no reason.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're out of Afghanistan for the most part
Yeah.
because we never should
It's
have been
true.
there anyway. But let's lead
Yeah,
ourselves.
ethnically,
Oh yeah,
sorry,
go ahead. Go
ethnically,
ahead.
there are like Afghan people, Iran people. They're like our cousins. We come from like the same ethnicity. I mean, Uzbek population is very diverse in ethnicity. So obviously, during the Mongolians, the Genghis Khan people, we are descendants of Genghis Khan himself as well. And so we have people, I mean, some of my friends and my cousins, they look completely like Eastern Asian, so, you know, Chinese and Korean, but I look more, I don't really know how I look like, but some people call me more Arab or Latino. I got that, which is weird. But yeah, so there's like so many different, it's a lot country. But you should go totally look into more of it. It's fascinating. Yeah.
I love that. I definitely will. And to correct myself, Neuro, I meant more nomad. I meant more agrarian than stable because
Mm-hmm.
nomadic is stable too. I
Yeah.
that was a improper use of the word. I meant more like static because agrarian societies tend to be more static homing
Mm-hmm.
compared to
Mm.
the nomadic. That was more what I meant. So um, thanks for the
Correction.
question on that because that is an important clarification.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that also that's going to lead us into the next part, which is going back to our notes while we finish out the last 20-ish minutes of our show today, 15-20 minutes of
Yay.
our show, because we got to end a little early today, is we got some notes to talk about some of the dumb things that have been going on this past week. And all of our notes kind of link with each other, which isn't a surprise in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Walter, I'm going to start with your note
All right. Oh gosh, yeah, that one.
because you have like your note did not pull any punches. Not that I thought you would.
Yeah.
You did not pull any punches here, and I want your thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't notice how much this one got shared like 800 times. I didn't notice that till this morning, but
Wow.
it says, let's hunt down all the men in the rape academy. Let's invade their privacy. Let's make them fearful wherever they go. Let's make them check the back seat of their cars before they get in. Let's hound and harass them until they think nowhere is safe. Then let's tell them to smile more. Throw them in jail, throw away the key. And it's
Yeah.
just, this is kind of what we were talking about before. We keep waiting for consent from our
Mm-hmm.
oppressors before we can fight back. Well, no, we don't have to ask for consent to defend ourselves. And, you know, they like, as long as we're talking about the issue of consent, and as long as we're going through this
Yeah.
life where they're trying to impose themselves upon us without asking for it, let's impose our defiance and our self-love upon them without
Mm-hmm.
asking for permission to do that too. And so I just think you saw how somebody put on this site, like that Rape Academy site was up there. I haven't heard anything. That's already gone from the news. That's like 4 days old. Nobody talks about it. Somebody put up a sign or somebody put up a page to tell all the people on that site. That was taken down like within minutes. Like the
Oh, the one
Yeah.
response to
Melissa was talking
accountability.
about.
Yeah, the response to accountability was swift and instant. And this is exactly
Mhm.
the problem we have in our society, where the rapists are allowed to do what they want and everybody worries about how they feel. When we try to come forward to defend ourselves, we hearing it from the Republicans. You guys got to tone down your rhetoric. No, you got to tone down your raping. You got to tone down your abuse. And
That's
until
so
we
true.
start doing that, we give ourselves permission to just go ahead and fight back. You know, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
I would love your thoughts, not on the Rape Academy thing, but actually on the way that we talk, because Walter, you bring up such an interesting point, and I think part of the problem in America, anyways, and I want to hear, is it the same for you? Is in America we have misconceptions around what it means for innocent until proven guilty, because innocent does not mean not culpable. It just legally means you cannot be charged for the crime. And I think we in America have made, not on purpose for us, by us as most citizens, but the system and the patriarchy itself around this, specifically in America right now, religious based patriarchy, and that's not something we've touched on too heavily yet. And I know that's something you talk about, but is the patriarchal system is doing what it's supposed to. I don't want to mess up what I was thinking on here. Oh yeah. Is Walter, you touched on the important points of like victim blaming and victim shaming. Is I think we've been led to misinterpret what innocent means when we talk about a legal setting versus what innocent means when we talk about a societal condition, like, or a social norm. And just because you're innocent doesn't mean you haven't violated a ton of social norms and niceties and things that you're supposed to follow. Is the criminal justice system for you similar in, like, is the Uzbekistani criminal justice system more guilty until proven not? Or is it on the American side of like that sort of innocent and victim shame until you get away with it?
That's an interesting question. Well, honestly, to be honest, I can't speak much about Uzbekistan. I don't live there mostly. I'm studying.
But in your region, without outing where you are, in your region.
Yes, definitely. I think that's a universal thing. Like, I think no matter what kind of culture I'm in, the patriarchy still thrives. The victims, I think, in my opinion, whenever it's a, femicide, it's like a gender-based violence, the victims are always treated like they are on trial. No matter where I go, I see it like everywhere. It comes in different forms, yes, but I do think it's like worldwide. It's like a universal thing because patriarchy is thriving, in my opinion, almost everywhere.
I think that leads directly into what you posted for your note. And I'd love for you to talk about this real quick too, and build on what we were just talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, just reading the quote, right? Like, every woman or you probably know someone, or a woman who has been assaulted or narrowly avoided the assault. Or I would also like to add, you probably know a woman who has known another woman who has been assaulted. And it just calculates like the possibility of being assaulted, or has held the hand of another woman who was assaulted. And that's like like it's everywhere. And just look at it, because that's why I don't get why when people say we don't need feminism or the patriarchy doesn't exist. Like, yes, it does, because women are, systematically, they are more treated with violence and they're more victims than they are perpetrators. I think in US, if I'm not mistaken, there was like statistics of like men doing 90 something part of the
it's
rape.
like 98% of violent assault crimes are perpetrated by men.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I'll add on to this, because if you're a man specifically, if you've never met a woman who has been assaulted, narrowly avoided her assault, or is afraid of assault, yes, you have.
Yeah.
Like, you have.
You just don't know it.
You just don't know it because you're not safe enough for them to tell you, because they think they inherently, because society has made women fear men. I'll add
men's behavior has made
men's
women
behavior, and men fear other men's behavior too, because it's a number we don't really talk about, most people don't talk about a lot, is 1 in 3 men have been assaulted as well in some sort of sexual assault capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
On top of it, I think it's 1 in 3. I might be wrong on that number, but it's a huge number of men who have also been assaulted and then don't know that that is assault because
Oh,
they are
yes.
taught that that is discipline, or this is the way that men teach other men how to be. And then they become the assaulters themselves because they're indoctrinated and trained into it. A lot of these men, if they were taught good values and lessons from a young age through actions that they have seen or experienced, they wouldn't come out to be assaulters.
Yeah.
And yes, some men who live and people are able to break through family. Your parents don't define you. But if you're a man who thinks they don't know someone who has been assaulted, well, then you're probably the problem.
Yeah. And the idea, too, that we're more worried about protecting the enablers of abuse than we are stopping the abusers. It's just sort of like, because with those not all arguments, it's like, no, it's like that is going to stop. Listening to that argument takes away our energy to make sure the guilty are held accountable. So let's not even say that. And if it's a transgression against me, I'll take that transgression, because that's nothing compared to what is going to be imposed on other people that don't have the same power that I do. And we've got to change that attitude. We have to go at like that response that they're so quick to, well, we got to take down everybody in the rape academy, can't dox them because it's going to ruin their lives. What about the lives of all the people that the guilty ones on that page, the ones
what
that
about the victims
there
who have been psychologically, like they've been scarred for life, and you're worried about, like, what I see, especially with that argument, is like they center the conversations back to themselves, and it's all about, defending their ego. Yeah,
I'm quite happy to endure that and to just be, it's like, I don't need to have the expectation. I want to have motivation to prove that I'm helping, and that requires intrusions upon my privacy at times. It's like, yes, that's fine, because this will help us get these up. This is why we cooperate with investigations, right? I'm not going to, if there's a killer in the neighborhood, I'm not going to be like, well, it's a waste of my time because I wasn't involved. How dare you ask me questions? Exactly. I'm going to sit down with them and say, this is what I saw. And if you have to go through, look my house, he's not here. But if you can find evidence, then let's go get him. But we have this attitude like, well, we can't infringe on that person's time because that's somehow worse. It's like, no, we have to have our focus on making accountability. And again, it comes back to that. Our focus is never on accountability for the wrongdoers. It's always about maintaining the structure that allows wrongdoers to escape accountability, to ever be held accountable. That's our problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'll show my note on that, because I think, Walter, you gave a really good lead into what I put for my note.
Perfect.
Is I talk about this a lot, and it's one of those things where I say, I don't ask women to do this job that is easy, that men need to be doing to prove to women and others around them, not just women, but the LGBTQ community, the non-binary, everybody, anywhere in between. Men, if you are straight enough, male and white, like if you pass as straight, if you look straight, if you act straight, and you're white and you're in Congress, I'm still waiting on a single male member of Congress to grow a pair of big ass brass balls, because balls are weak and they need to be made out of something harder than they are. Put your career on the line. Get your ego out of the way, put your career on the line, go on the floor and out every member of Congress who's used the sexual assaulters hush money fund, because that's what it is. And we have to talk about it that way. This money is to hush sexual assault victims, and it is taxpayer dollars used to silence women and possibly men from talking.
Yes.
This is what they're using our tax dollars on, is to be sexual assaulters and hide it from us. One male member, it is your job as a male member to go out on the floor and out all of them. Because why do we keep having to have women do something that we should be doing? Like, we police ourselves or we don't get better.
Yes.
We fix ourselves as men or we don't get better. We will get left behind. Women don't need us. We're barely needed in the reproductive process at this point. Like, women could probably do better without us in so many ways. And it's going to
Absolutely.
come back to it where women will choose to not be with men ever
Yeah.
because
Honestly.
of the destructive behavior if we don't address it. And I'm not saying
Mhm.
all men, and I'm not saying all women in this, but there's a large enough that we men need to be the ones out front, not getting in the way of, but standing next to the people who are already doing the work. Because it's not about me. I don't want power. I don't want to run for Congress. I don't want to sit in the halls of Congress. There are much, much better people out there. They probably aren't men for the most part. There are good men who are going to run for Congress who I think will make a really good impact.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, when you said that women will leave men, and I think I already am seeing this, and I'm probably an example of it as well. Like, honestly, like, especially in my generation, Gen Z, like, women are fed up. Like, it's like, especially young men, it's so insufferable to date them
Mhm.
because you're not gaining anything out of them. They don't know how to take care of themselves emotionally,
Yeah.
physically, even like, so we're talking about basic things, basic like doing the dishes, or I just it's hard, but I really do feel like it's getting stronger. Women telling no to the men that we're supposed to love and date, and because it's gotten to that point already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we need to fix that because that is a
Yeah.
problem. Like, that
Mm-hmm.
is a problem. It's not good that men, we are doing this to ourselves. This is not a them
Mm-hmm.
problem. This is not a women problem. This is not an other people problem. It's not anywhere between. This is a men problem. We are
Mm-hmm.
doing this to ourselves, and we have to be the ones who fix it.
Yeah.
Well, and we need to do it alongside the people who are asking and who have given us the tools to fix it. And so we
Mm-hmm.
just need to listen.
Mhm, mhm.
And we
Yes.
have hit the half hour or the hour and a half mark today, which is unfortunately we have to cut short today. But we're going to have you back more than
Yeah,
once.
Yes.
Um,
absolutely.
Please. I
you
would
are
love
welcome back
to.
whenever you want to come in. There's like open invites for people. We have some friends who have open invites, and
Yeah.
you're definitely one of them. Um,
Thank you.
is I want to promote your work and where people can find you, and how
Yes,
people can
please.
support what you're doing. I'll put you here back up top. I'll do our musical cameras again. Is how can people support the work that you're doing? I've got a QR code for your Substack,
Yes,
but
please. Yeah.
shamelessly promote yourself.
Yes, I mean, I did start out very recently, but if you guys can become a paid subscriber, I don't like talking about it, but if you can, I think it really supports the mission because, I mean, as soon as you guys get that, the bestseller kind of
Mhm,
tier, like people will start actually wanting to hear you out. And we just need
mhm,
to be talking more about feminism. We need to be talking more about what's going on in the media through a feminist lens. Like, that's the biggest thing we need
mhm,
to start doing because what I see a lot of people do, not just only in Substack, but in general, is that we want to be very objective with our journalism. I just think we
mhm.
need to be more like biased at this point. Like, we need to start pointing out the shit that's happening right there
Yes.
and then. So yeah, I mostly just write. I mean, I just started, but I we're expanding, and it's just wonderful to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being
Yeah.
with us. Thank you for joining us today. Um, please go subscribe. If you're on one of our other platforms, scan the QR code. If you're on Substack, hit that subscribe button in the top left corner so you can join all three of us. Walter, I'll
Yeah.
give you here a moment too before we do anything else. Walter, promote yourself too, my friend.
Yeah, and
Yes.
tying in with what Lufina said, it's so important. Deliberately choose new voices because the old celebrity voices, they have just been indoctrinated with that old mindset, and they just
Mm-hmm.
regurgitate the things that made this mess. And it's these new
Mm-hmm.
voices that are bringing in a new perspective because we're not going to change the world until we start doing different things. We have to listen to
Mm-hmm.
new things, and so much of my job is just talking to people who are well-meaning, but they're just defaulting to some sort of unconscious bias they didn't even know was
Yes.
put into them, which has no validity whatsoever. And they assume it's their job to lecture me when they're the one who is just regurgitating something they've been told. And I've done the work and I've done the studies and I've seen how it doesn't work. And I've, like we were saying at the beginning, we've done things at this point. We've raised a family. I've been married for a long time. And it's like we've got this point in our life. It's not the redemption arc, because we're not the people that have hurt people our whole lives, and we're the ones who are always marginalized and set to the side. So please just be deliberate in who you sponsor, and if you can afford, I mean, we're the working class group. Don't give your money to those millionaires. They're doing fine already. It's the new voices we need to support. We really need your help, because we're the canaries in the coal mine. They're going to try and snuff us out, and that's just a fact too. Because the robber barons don't want this viewpoint, because we are a threat to them. They know we're a threat to them, and there are deliberate actions at work to silence us in a number of ways. Your support makes all the difference. So thank you for it, and thanks everyone for being here.
Thank you, Walter. You're incredible.
Oh,
Love
you're so
it.
All right. Oh, let me get back to my screen. Sorry, I'm doing so many things.
You're just sitting there absorbing the awesomeness.
I absorb the awesomeness today. I'm having such a good time. Finally, everyone, please come support us here at Sick of This Shit Publications. We're having a great time fighting back against fascism. Like, I'm not being boring while we do this. We want to have fun while we do this. We want to make it enjoyable.
Might as
enjoyable.
well.
You might as well, because if it's boring fighting back against the thing that's destructive, no one's going to do it. So let's make it fun to fight back and build community strong, and come join us where we have our chronic illness chats and our masculinity and better humaning discussions, our men's shows. Congressional and candidate interviews are coming up soon too. We're going to have so many good conversations, and so much stuff is going on, all sorts of tools being built behind the scenes so that I can distribute content better, and others can distribute content more easily without having to pay a hefty price tag to some corporate fascist asshole. I'm trying to make it so that it's available for others without feeling like you're paying a corporate fascist asshole. So come pay me instead. Then I can build cool tools that you guys can all use. And I love the support, but also free subscribe is great.
Yes.
And then at the end, like, share, and restack, because we're a podcast and we like talking about that. And it also gets our views up. And the message out is reshare this to people. Get this show out to your friends. Forward the emails. Put it on your Facebook. Put it on your Blue Sky or whatever, Threads or whatever you have outside of Substack too. It gets the message out. But in the end, thank you everyone for being here with us. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you being here with us every week with all these amazing discussions we have. Thank you everyone. Go have a great day. And like I always say, we're done being sick of this shit here. So we're doing this shit. Let's go have a great day, everyone. Thanks. You guys have a great one. Thank you.
Yeah. You too, Nick. Bye-bye.